Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Tuesday the 13th of January 2026. In today's Millwall news, we start off with this from the southernnews.co.uk. Millwall head coach addresses George Evans' recall and future loan plans plus potential stopper signing in window. Curious. Let's find out what's going on here then. Millwall are weighing up whether to send goalkeeper George Evans back out on loan, Alex Neil said. Evans, 20, was recalled from a stint of Turkey United on Monday to provide cover after backup keeper Stephen Bender's loan spell with Millwall was cut short. Evans made 14 appearances for the National League side, keeping 4 clean sheets. George's loan was always going to be extended, but, within that, we were always going to have a 24-hour recall, which means we can bring him back whenever we like, which was always important for us. Stephen just went back to Fulham. We just thought that was probably in Stephen's best interest and in Arbin's best interest that the loan was cut short. We felt as if George would certainly help us in the short term. It's still a position we're looking at, but equally, we've got a lot of confidence in George, hence the reason why we put him out to play games. And I'm trying to strike that balance between George getting development and getting game time, but in the interim, being obviously a cover for us because we know he's capable if relied upon. Neil's asked how likely it was that Evans would go back out on loan this month. I think it depends on our circumstances. If we can find somebody who we feel would be able to help us in the second half of the season or the next 20 games and it allows George to go back out, whether it be at Hartlepool or anywhere else to get more game time, and we deem that beneficial for both parties, then, definitely. But if we feel that George would probably be able to supplement and help us in the short term, then we may well, look at that. And the window's still quite a bit to go, so it'll become quite clear what we're going to do as it develops, mainly. Evans came through Mill's under-18s before being offered a professional deal by the club in the summer of 2023. He was promoted from the under-21s last April and handed his debut away at Blackburn Rovers following injuries to Lucas Jensen and Liam Roberts, having previously just made one senior appearance while on loan at Sutton United. I don't think that's true. It's hard to get stats, but there is the competition, the National League Cup. It's like the Football League Trophy, but for National League teams. He did play a few times in that as well. So when you go to stats websites, they basically, especially if it's like non-league teams, they generally only do the league and major cup competitions. And for the non-league teams, that would be the FA Cup and sometimes the FA Trophy, but then even not then. So he has played more than once for Sutton. He did play more than once for Sutton. Evans won man and match in the Lions 1-0 win against Swansea City on April the 26th, making 4 saves to ensure Millwall left the den with a clean sheet and important 3 points. He finished the season having made 4 first-team starts. He signed a new long-term contract last summer. So there you go. The thing is, right, here's the thing. So, because of his age, I believe that he's still capable of going out on a youth loan, which can happen, it can happen after the window, but he has to go to a non-league team. So that's National League and below. And you would think, well, he's proven himself in the National League, but, experience is experience. If you play games, certain things will come up. Like, I don't know, if you're in goal, saving penalties. Has he faced any penalties yet? I think he did. Face a penalty. But various stuff like that. Messing up a kick, a pass back. Various things that you experience as a keeper in the moment that you can't really replicate that in training. Coming for crosses and things like this. So. And like I said before, in previous videos, going to back out to Hartlepool if they want them and he wants to go. But even then, if they're mid-table and they're not going to get promoted or they're not going to get relegated, I don't know if they're paying any money towards his wages, but then they would think, well, why would we bother to do that? Because, we're mid-table, we're going to finish mid-table. There's nothing, why would we spend extra money on wages if we're going to finish mid-table and we're not going to get relegated? So, but, if Millwall were covering his wages, then I'm sure they would love him. And that can happen until, I believe it's the second week of March. They go on the old school system where there's a registration deadline, and that's just to keep the competition fair. So he can still go back out on loan to a non-league team. So there is that possibility. Now, moving on to this, also from the Southern News.co.uk, and also from Alex Neil. Millwall boss gives update after Derek Mazou-Sackos scan. Indeed. Derek Mazou-Sacko is not expected to miss much time after being diagnosed with bony bruising. His bone has been bruised. Mazou-Sacko, 21, was scheduled to start against Burnley on Saturday, but was ruled out on the morning of the match due to a swollen ankle caused by a training ground collision with Zach Sturge the day before that worsened overnight. Millwall lost that FA Cup further on tie 5-1 at Turf Moor. The French midfielder had previously missed 6 weeks of an ACL strain, but Neil is not expecting to be without his services for much longer. It's just a bony bruise, and that's why it took so long to come out. Sometimes when you get a bone bruise, it's superficial on the top of your skin. So when somebody hits it, you can tell right away that it's sore. And sometimes when you get a kick on it, it just goes deeper onto the bone, and the swelling doesn't come out till later on. So that's what's happened to Derek. He's got a kick in the top of his foot, and he's got some bony bruising, which is causing him a lot of discomfort. Hopefully, maybe out for a week, maybe more. It really depends on his pain threshold. He's basically got a bone bruise on the top of his foot, and that's ruled him out of the last game. And he's walking about much more comfortably now than he was. If we continue at that rate, then he shouldn't miss too much. Neil was asked if he still expects to have a few more back from injury this weekend when he signed taking Watford at Vicarage Road. When we have maybe one or two back, we need to caveat that and the fact they're not ready to start. They might be ready for 20 minutes like Josh gave us at Burnley, and they're certainly not ready to start the game. Exactly. They have to be on the bench. So, they could come off the bench and have some heroics going on. But we'll see about that. Now, moving on to this. This is from the Turkish Football Federation, the tff.org. It's the Turkish FA website. Mentioned a couple of weeks ago, young Millwall lad Jayden Tektas had been called up for the under-19s, and they got 2 friendlies against Uzbekistan. They played one of them. It was played on Sunday. The next one's tomorrow, Wednesday, January the 14th. So, not much of a match report, but we do find out that he did play. He came on as a sub. So this is the first game. Maybe he start the second game. Don't know. But we'll see. So our under-19 national team defeated Uzbekistan 3-2 in a special match in Antalya. In the match played at Arslan Zeki Demirci Sports Complex, Ozdar Oroskan scored the goals of our national team in the 53rd minute, Onurab Kaguroglu in the 64th minute, and Adem Yezilyot in the 67th minute. Uzbekistan's goals were scored by Kuvanch Abraev in the 32nd minute and Shorahim Shoramedev in the 89th minute. The Crescent and Stars, that's Turkey, who are preparing for the UEFA European Under-19 Championship Elite round matches, will play another match against Uzbekistan on Wednesday, January the 14th. That's tomorrow. And I assume that's at the same stadium, Arslan Zeki Demirci Sports Complex. So if you go to Turkey, if you go to the second line, and you can see Jayden, Mark, Jem, Tektas. And DK70 came on in the 70th minute as a substitute to replace Robert Atsup. So he did get on. And if we go back to the goal, so when he came on, it was 3-1 to Turkey. And it ended up being 3-2 to Turkey. So there you go. And you can see there, midfielders, Jayden, Mark, Jem, Tektas, FC Millwall. So this is, I assume this is a starting 11. And I think this is the same complex. This is where they do like soccer summer camps and pre-season, friendly camps and stuff like that. Much like the place we went to in Spain. So there you go. There's two female linesmen. How often do you see that? Are they twins? They look very similar. There you go. If they're not twins, it's creepy that they look the same. Did they do that on purpose? I don't know. Here's what's going on though. I thought it was kind of weird, like, why are they having a friendly in January? What's that all about? Obviously, they brought Jayden Tektas in. I believe that's the first time he's been called up. They're trying to qualify from this qualifying group. They've already done the first round. There's 2 rounds of qualifying. The first round and this round. And this round is absolutely brutal. So what you got is you got a 14 group and it's seeded. So first seed, second seed, third seed, fourth seed. And generally, the first seed, they also host it. So they've got a double advantage. So it's literally like, it's UEFA kind of like setting it up, like kind of fixing it in a way. Like, okay, it's set up for you to win your group. You're the top seed. So if Turkey do get through this, and they're going to be going some way to do this, because it's going to be in Italy. And the way the games go, so you got 3 games over 6 days, 25th of March, 28th of March, 31st of March, and the final game is Turkey versus Italy. So if the first couple of games go as expected, and you've got Italy, Hungary, Turkey, Slovakia, Italy, Slovakia, Turkey, Hungary, and then that final game, this is how you do it. You make sure you win your first couple of games, and then you get to the final game against the number 1 seed, and you've got to get, if you draw that game, or, win it on penalties, you find a way to win it, and then you go through and you take the spot in the final tournament, which will be in sunny North Wales in the summer. It's going to be 28th of June to the 11th of July. There's only 8 teams, and one of them will be Wales, and this is literally just in North Wales. It's going to be in Wrexham, Bangor, Colwyn Bay, Deeside and Denbigh. So these are the stadiums for that competition. And I did not realise that Wrexham was so close to Liverpool. I thought Wrexham was kind of further down and to the left. But no, I didn't realise it was that close to basically the Wirral, no? So yeah. This is what they're doing. They have to try and... This is what Turkey are trying to do. They're trying to get through to this. And then it looks like... the first... Even in this competition, they use this as a qualifying thing for the next thing that's happening next year. So this is an under-19 competition, and they're using it as an under-20 FIFA World Cup qualifying thing. So the first 4 teams in this... If you finish top 2 in a group, obviously you go through in this competition, but it's then being used. Oh, you qualify for next year's under-20 World Cup, because this is under-19s. Obviously, a year later you're going to be under-20s. It might mostly be the same players, and at the moment there's what's that? Azerbaijan are the only team that's qualified, which is okay. Oh no, this is the... No, that's not for this. This is for that under-20 World Cup, because they're co-hosting it. Okay. So there you go. But, this is what they're trying to do. They got a mini tournament in March, qualifying. If they qualify, then they have to go to North Wales. And it's, it just keeps going and going and going. Now, moving on to this from Instagram. The Millwall fans. What's that about? This is the Instagram account for Millwall Supporters Club, MSC, and they have put out a call. They want information, they want feedback and comments. So the MSC would like to hear from you if you use South Bermondsey Station on match days. We welcome feedback and comments on policing outside and around the approach to the station, policing at the station, particularly whilst waiting to access the platforms and whilst on platforms, any delays to accessing the platform and what that means for individuals, as the health and safety concerns, accessibility concerns, missing onward connections, lack of information communication while at the station. The MSC are in discussions with the Metropolitan Police around policing matters already raised to them. Your feedback is vital so that we can add your voice to the conversations we are having. Please contact Dave Lane, MSC Police Liaison, on dave.lane@millwallsupportersclub.co.uk. Dave can be contacted for any policing matters for home or away games. So there you go. So basically, they want you to tell them if you've been affected personally by anything that's... we know what goes on. It's become a bit of a joke now where they hold the home fan. They make us wait, at our station, because we're in a weird situation where a lot of people have to move around. We have to go to London Bridge, and well, not me, but you guys, and you have to go back to places like Eltham, Dartford, Maidstone, etc., etc. You don't live in the local area, so you can't walk home, basically. And a lot of people are getting pissed off with it. A lot of people stopped just going to the station. And it's annoying. If you want to get back quickly, you rush to the station, and you are prevented from going to the station by the police, as the away fans are marched up the walkway, up the back passage into the station, and they're let onto a train first, and then you have to wait for the next train, which can be as much as half an hour. And it's quite ridiculous, isn't it? It's especially when so obviously here's the thing, who do you blame for that? You blame the police, you blame the train company, because obviously the trains are running as they're running, they're set to the timetable. The police have to deal with that as it is. But that clearly, if you've got a group of people that are a target or just antagonising, as in like there's like 1,000 away fans, 2,000 away fans, it would make more sense for them to get them out of the way first. But the thing with the train companies is the Southern, they have the capacity to put on a shuttle. They've done this in the past. And this was when they were doing the Thameslink work, the dive under thing, that they built. The new platforms, was it platform 4, platform 5, that go through to Cannon Street, all that stuff, that went through Borough Market. When they were doing that shit, they had to do a lot of engineering works at London Bridge. So that meant they set up South Bermondsey so that you could turn the trains around, and that's both ways. So you can get a train from London, from London Bridge down to South Bermondsey. You can turn it on the track. You can go into one platform, one side of tracks or the other side of tracks, and then it can come back up. Obviously, you probably need either the driver gets out and walks down to the other end, or you've got two drivers, one in each side, and they just go. But also going up, the other way. You can have the train coming up from the south, from Croydon or from Beckenham Junction, and just stopping at South Bermondsey, not going into London Bridge and then turning around straight away. So they have that set up, so they can do that. So it might be a thing that for them, instead of they did do it like on request once, when I think the club asked them because the trains was properly messed up. But why don't they just do it de facto? Just get it into the timetable and just have it in the timetable. And if they use it, they use it. If they don't, they don't. But the space is in a timetable for it to be done. Obviously, you then it's sent up to them to move the rolling stock around to make sure that there's a 4-car sitting in the platforms, in the southern platforms at London Bridge when it's needed to be there. Yeah. So again, but in response to this, obviously this was put on social media. This is Instagram. Obviously, I'm trying to find it to show you it. So this is on Instagram, but on Twitter, everyone saying that they've stopped going to South Bermondsey after the game because it's quicker for you to walk down to New Cross or up to Surrey Quays than standing around waiting at South Bermondsey. Like, the amount of time is the same. So, what's the point? What is the point? Now, we're going to finish by looking at the done deals, the transfers so far in this January transfer window. And this is, of course, again from bbc.co.uk. So these are the ones announced today. And regarding the Championship, we have Gavin Bazunu, the Southampton keeper who saved the Ballo shot with his face. He's gone on loan to Stoke because Southampton signed a keeper on loan from Bayern Munich. So they bring in a keeper from Bayern Munich and he goes out on loan to Stoke. So thank you so much for that, Southampton. Obviously, Stoke are near the top of the table where Southampton ain't. So they've just improved Stoke. Thank you so much for that. Wow. And Wout Faes has left Leicester and gone to Monaco on loan. And then Maktar Gueye has left Blackburn and gone to Shanghai Shenhua. Deals yesterday. Harry Clark has gone on loan to Charlton from Ipswich. Killian Barrett has left Sheffield Wednesday and gone to Barrow. Henry Gray has left Ipswich on loan and gone to Harrogate. And Stefan Fordarson has left Preston and gone to Hanover 96. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.